Welcome! Today, I'll take you on the journey of going from this to this. Okay, I might be slightly lying, but please hear me out. I began trying to seriously draw when I was around 12 years old. It was 2014 and I was just your average preteen. The average preteen with unrestricted internet access who discovered Tumblr, and the rest was history. In my browsing, I really liked looking at people's art, and one day I thought I can totally do that. And then, oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6.
From the ages of 12 to 14, I drew quite sporadically, and I knew absolutely nothing about art. I just drew other people's drawings that I thought looked cool. In 2015, I discovered K-pop, and I fell so deep down a hole that for the rest of my days, I basically never drew anything else but K-pop idols. This is all that you're gonna get out of me because I still have some shame left. After finishing off middle school, known as the weird girl who likes K-pop, in the Snapchat dog filter year that was 2016, I began high school. I will try to keep this as short as possible, and maybe if I keep making more parts to this series, I shall talk about it in another video. So in simple terms, in my country, when you go into high school, you have to choose an area of study to specify in. You can choose science, humanities, economy, art. You can even choose culinary arts. There's really a lot to choose from. It would just depend on your school. I don't think I benefited anything from this system, as I'm not someone who just had a clear passion from early on in life on what I wanted to do, as I just wish that I could do everything life has to offer. I want to do a billion things, and I don't know which one I should stick to. In other terms, you could also just call me a Sagittarius, which I am. I am very indecisive, and I have never had a very clear vision of what I wanted to do in life. So I did choose art, in case you couldn't tell where this was going. I had my reasons, but long story short, it made me hate drawing. And after I finished high school, I basically stopped drawing altogether. What was once a funny little hobby that I actually really enjoyed became my least favorite thing about my daily life and left me very burnt out. It's now been 5 years since I graduated high school, and this challenge I have set for myself has basically been the first time I drew on paper since like 2019 that I can remember, at least. Out of this challenge, of course, I have some goals. I initially did not have this in mind, but as I went on, I realized that making VTuber designs was a possibility that I think I would enjoy. I have more goals that I wish to get to. I want to also draw fan art, indulgent fan art. I'll get there one day. So in the end, I clickbaited you. I'm not really learning how to draw. I have a little bit of experience, but like, trust me, I am not that good. And I'm trying to learn how to draw in an anime style, which I've never done in my life. And that is what I'm learning, because if I want to make VTuber designs, I have to know how to draw anime girls. I initially began studying anatomy back in late March. I found the tackle lessons tutorials, and I stayed doing these tutorials for this whole first part of my journey. And I do think that this was a little bit of a mistake. Although it was a nice starter point, the tutorials were accessible and direct, and I was not overwhelmed with information. I believe I should have branched out, because I think I got a bit bored of it as well as frustrated, hence why I stopped after less than a week, but we'll get there. The first drawings I did on the loose papers were okay. Some were better than others. They were my first anatomy studies, like just really drawing on paper for the first time in years. And I don't think there's much point dwelling on these. There isn't much to see anyway, so I'll just move on to the sketchbook. On March 26th, I marked the official day I actually started. The first page is not a jump scare, at least, even if some aspects are better than the others. It's a not too shabby start. But, oh, don't worry, the second page is the real jump scare. I have known about drawing boxes for ages. However, it seems like I had never come across someone who explained that the boxes are supposed to be in perspective. So, of course, I don't like the box method. Like, what the hell is this? And it's a little funny because I only draw boxes now. Some egg shapes, and I think these are all kind of bad. I don't really like them. The torsos feel long and weird. I still use the egg method, I guess, if you count drawing the rib cage inside a box. The egg method, it's not exactly the same thing, but it is the same thing. I don't know. Second day, some chest muscle studies. I tried drawing some female bodies, got absolutely humbled. And I have basically only drawn men, so my women skills really lacked a lot here. As a woman myself, I understand that breasts are just fat tissue hanging on the chest muscle, but seems like being a woman didn't exactly help as much as I thought at first. This up angle kneeled pose that looks not good, but I tried drawing it again 2 days later or 12 pages later, and it was a little bit better. And I think despite not being the best, I began to understand perspective a bit more. Before moving along, it may seem like I spent hours and hours drawing because there's like some days with 10 pages, but I didn't. These are all pretty quick sketches. I try not to spend more than like a minute on each, and that is why coming up there's a lot of repetition, because I would draw it once and then think, okay, I get it a little more now, I can do better next time. And take that as my advice. It's not novel advice, it's been said by everyone ever. Do not waste tons of time into one single drawing when learning anatomy. It's pointless in my opinion. Just pick a part of the body to study and make as many quick studies of that specific point as much as you can. And then when you feel confident that you know how it's constructed, you can actually try and draw something more elaborate. My lines in the sketchbook are very messy, but I also try to rarely erase stuff, and if something wasn't looking good, I just moved on. When you spend too much time on a single drawing, you also run the risk of staring at it for too long, so it starts to look good syndrome, and you want to avoid that when learning anatomy. Just move on, dude. This page is full of bad drawings, but in the midst of it, there is one salvation, and that was the first drawing I did on here that I felt sort of happy with. Here, we let the repetition begin. Lots of the same thing, just broken down. I got back to the box method, and I realized that I hated it even more than before, because I just really didn't get it. Then back muscle that I never think about, but maybe I should start thinking about it. Third day, I attempted some dynamic poses, and I remember feeling humbled, but looking back, they're not that bad. I hate these. It's like the drawing of a madman, and it's all kind of bad too. Like, it's just wonky and bad, and I just don't stare at it for too long. Let's ignore it. There's just more poses, and there's some rectangles to divide the torso and pelvis, which is just boxes simplified. Fourth day was when I redrew that up angle pose over to the side. Ignore her. I drew the torso as a box, and it's not that bad. More attempts at female bodies where they end up sort of just looking weird, and I don't even know what I was on at the time. Then I was going through a debilitating obsession with Boot Hill. So there's just this Boot Hill sketch alongside a skeleton. My two crushes. Then I questioned myself again. I do not know why female bodies weren't clicking for me. It's Boot Hill again. And more boxes, and these are better, but I was just copying what I saw, and I hadn't fully realized what I was doing yet. On the fifth day, the PP space is not what you think. It looks suspicious when it's followed by drawings of butts, but it's not weird like that. It's just space for the pelvis. Then I got to legs, and I do not like legs. I didn't understand them that much. And the next pages, you can see that I started losing a bit of motivation. And I think I was having an off day, but I took it as my downfall. And when I got to drawing arms, I just stopped. And like I said, I got a bit frustrated because back then I wasn't seeing any improvement, even though there is some, and I fixed a few mistakes that I was making when I first started. I just stopped drawing and I kept making nails. 2 months later, on May 25th, late at night, I was like, why did I ever stop? Why did I lose out on 2 months of process? I could actually be good now, but I just stopped. And that night, I only drew these tiny sketches and this drawing on Procreate. And then the next day, I got a little scared. I thought I had lost it again. I started questioning where my male booby skills were at. And never mind. Never mind. I just needed a little warming up. I still had it in me. And it would be weird if I had lost what I learned just 2 months before. But God, we are so back. You have no idea. At this point, I did start spending more time on certain drawings as well as drawing digitally. And yes, I was spending my whole afternoons just drawing, and I was having a lot of fun. I tackled what I fear most, after legs and feet, arms. And like, what was the issue? What issue did I have? I think the struggle is just making it look like it belongs on the body, as well as not realizing that forearms are longer than I think, as your wrist is at about the same level as your crotch. And like, I knew that, but I don't know why I wasn't fully putting it into practice. I drew some girlies, and then these are the girlies with references. Don't comment on the boobs, I will get to it, I will soon learn. This time I was branching out a lot, lots of YouTube videos, lots of Pinterest tutorials, and oh my god, I learned about boxes properly this time. And it was thanks to a video by Picat. I watched a few of her videos and I learned at least something from all of them, so I definitely recommend checking her out. After this proper box discovery, I had a bit of initial struggle adapting to it, but soon I realized, oh my god, I can really just draw anything from any angle like this. This is witchcraft. I tried learning about the skull, which is important, but no. I think it's time for more boxes, like lots of boxes. Until this point, I have mostly avoided drawing digitally because my iPad was quite old and the battery drained like crazy when using Procreate. And then charging it while using Procreate was another battle. But I ventured out and I started doing digital stuff. And this is where the timeline gets a bit confusing. I drew a lot, that's kind of my conclusion. Then on May 28th, I think I had my epiphany. Not only did boxes finally make full sense in my brain, I tackled the female body. I found the reference I liked on Pinterest. You should use like real people references. Shut up. I know, but I'm okay? Don't worry about me. I broke the references into shapes and tried replicating said shapes myself and then built upon that. And this helped so much. Previously, I had felt like doing that was a crime, but obviously it's not. It's a good way to learn, and it clicked in my brain. I drew some poses from the reference, and I was still kind of unhappy with the boobs, so I started practicing different angles and like actually writing down proper tips. I don't know who drew that. Turns out that the easiest angle for me is from below. I was still struggling quite a bit, and then I drew this pose and I was very proud of it. The neuron activation comment is purely because of how happy I was with my progress here, nothing else. I tried out hands, and I don't have that much against hands. It's still not something I find fun, but it's alright. I practiced a lot of eyes on May 31st. There's some more pages of the following days, but nothing too worth going in depth for, because then I also stopped drawing on the sketchbook. I had a lot of fun drawing these, and they didn't take that long. I think I was only drawing for like a couple hours. And then I don't remember which day it was, but at like 3 a.m. I started doing this drawing of Black Swan, and I ended up not liking it that much. And then on June 9th, something happened. Something very serious and very dire. I began a Minecraft phase. My friend and I began a server, and I fear that it has taken over me a little bit. The last time I had played Minecraft was in like 2018, 2019, and there's a lot of new stuff that I never knew about, so I have been having quite a bit of fun. It's also made the progress on this video a bit more stalled. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft. I didn't draw for a full month like I intended to. It was more like 3 weeks total, I guess.
Whoa. So like basically, I lost the last audio file, and I have already spent so much time on this video, I don't want it to take any longer. I just want to be done with it. I am resorting to these means to tell you that I will keep posting more videos of my journey with anatomy, and I have already began working on the next one. So if you are interested in seeing more, I promise the next video will be better. I am slowly getting the hang of this thing. Like and subscribe, said with Riz. Thank you so much for watching. It won't happen again.